Hello, welcome to the Winners of Sheffield podcast. We're here today at Weston Park Cancer Charity HQ with the CEO, Emma. Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And we're joined by Hannah Duraid, who's previously been on the podcast, but I know you've got involved quite a lot with Weston Park Cancer Charity recently, so thought it'd be good for you to come down and get involved as well. So we always start at the early on in your. I take it you're from Sheffield, are you?
I am.
Born and raised.
This Sean Bean accent, I think from anywhere else really could have.
Yeah, you were saying before we started recording, a bit like me actually. You don't like the sound of your own voice.
No.
Can't listen to yourself. Right?
No, it's hard. And I refuse to do it. But I might enjoy this one. You never know.
have you been doing that for years? Have you sort of been involved with, being on recordings and stuff like that? You've never got used to it.
Yeah, I think there's things that come with like certain jobs, aren't there, where you might be doing speeches or you might be on radio or TV clips or filming or whatever, and it's not necessarily my favourite thing to do, but it's just part and parcel of getting the message out there, so you get used to it. But yeah, I'll listen to myself back and every now and again I think, Sean Bean, that is just who I sound like. Which, to be fair, it's not actually a bad thing. It's done all right.
It's done all right for himself, and does more voiceovers than I.
Yeah. Maybe I should view it a completely different way and think actually it's a superpower.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you've been in charity work since before Weston Park. In fact, before that, it looked like you were in sales from your LinkedIn.
Yeah. So I've been in the voluntary sector for over 20 years. It wasn't necessarily kind of a path where it was like, college, uni, wanting to go into the voluntary sector. So it was on the day that I went for my first job in a charity in London, actually, I went for a bar job. So, paths could have gone very different ways. But yeah, I landed this admin job with a national charity. I never looked back really, just kind of enjoyed it, said yes to lots of things, got lots of opportunities, and then just worked kind of in my way up, just did different projects and got involved in different things. So worked for a national charity called WSP, which supports disabled children and young people with mobility equipment. I then worked in a project in Peckham, so really community-based, kind of again supporting carers of disabled children and people. I then went on to national projects funded by Cabinet Office, NHS England, but always really been in the kind of health and social care side of the voluntary
sector. And what was it? It wasn't that it attracted you then at that particular moment to be in charity work. It was just more a by chance opportunity, was it?
I think I was always, on reflection, always drawn to kind of that type of work, supporting people, helping people. I was a carer for my grandparents when I was younger, so I think that I'm sure that there's kind of lots of support for my granddad who had dementia, care for him with dementia and renal failure. My mum has COPD, so it was just a lot of care, support, engagement with hospitals and medical professionals and stuff like that. Interestingly, I did my work experience at the Northern General Hospital. I wrote to them.
What, when you were still at school?
Still at school, yeah. So I wrote to them specifically, like I had friends at school kind of going off and secretaries or hairdressers, stuff like that. And there was just nothing available that took my interest. I wrote to the Northern General, really. And my first job in the morning when I got there at 7:30 was the Clean Adventures Award.
What's you mentioned school there? What school did you go to?
Mersall Springs. So I was born on the manor, grew up on the Arbourthorne. So yeah, Sheffield are born and bred, and I think a lot of my experience growing up kind of colours and impacts the who I am.
You mentioned you went down London. What took you down there? Was that studying or?
So me and my boyfriend at the time, we bought a £650 Ford Fiesta, a red one. We went travelling around Europe in it with a tent.
Nice.
We ran out of money. Arrived back in London. My aunt lives there, still does, and we slept on the floor. And then started applying for jobs, bar jobs.
And the rest is
absolute history. Yeah.
So you recently recruited Hannah,
force of nature.
Yeah. We were talking about you before you arrived, saying how amazing you are. But yeah, you recently got Hannah involved. What created that, Hannah?
Well, I'm also from Sheffield, and a few things really. So I've had my businesses for 11 years, for the Great Escape Game and Game Show All Stars, and I think a bit like what you're saying, an aftermath of that is that you naturally create a bit of a network. So obviously we do the business runners and business paddle together, and I think because of the network, and I think one of the main aims of particularly any appeal is to kind of spread the word far and wide, and that was one of the reasons. And then second is also when I was 26, I also had a brush with cancer, and it was a really, really difficult time. Throughout all the hills and stuff that I've been through with my business and the journey, that was stand out. So I think
was that after you actually started the business?
Yeah. I was third site deep, 50 staff, 26 years old, thinking, whoa.
I mean, obviously I didn't know any of that until you talked about it at the on.
Yeah. I haven't really spoken about it really until this. Doesn't necessarily overly feel relevant, but now obviously it really is. And I think partly, if I was to rewind back, like when it happened, I couldn't talk about it. It was so it was difficult. And I think with the charity, I think it's just spreading the word.
Yeah.
Shouldn't say that because that's quite fun. But yeah, and I think those two things combined make it really powerful.
So earlier this year, there was a merger, wasn't there? I lost my dad a few years ago with cancer, and it was predominantly Cavendish Cancer Care that were sort of on hand. I mean, I say that, but he was in hospital for a matter of weeks, and then he was gone, kind of thing. But I felt duty bound to do something, and then started supporting Cavendish. And then I remember, I think it was Kirsty or Hannah rung me up. So I was like, "Oh, can I have the logos? So I get them on my hoodies and what have you." I was like, "Yeah." And then she rung me up. She was like, "Just so that you're aware." And then obviously that happened last year. What brought that around? Is that a combining of forces to be stronger as one? Or?
Exactly that. So two charities, both doing amazing work, been around each for 30 years. And like you say, really kind of core to Sheffield, the people that they've supported over those 30 years, the people who've been involved as trustees, the people who have volunteered, really, really well loved. And it was a kind of coming together of minds of actually can be greater, have a greater impact together. And for us, it was how do we ensure that we can combine forces, reduce our costs as much as possible. So, change and combining two organisations. I mean, I kind of put it like putting Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United, together. I mean,
controversial.
It is, exactly. But we went into it with like, why are we doing this? And we just kept that front and centre. And to be fair, the team have been brilliant.
So last year, 4, including myself, middle-aged men decided to do a 24-hour paddle.
Oh, middle-aged, surely.
But for Weston Park, and bit of a crazy challenge. What's the craziest sort of fundraiser?
Oh, I mean, there is the weird, the wonderful, the moving, and I tell you what, it would never ever fail to amaze me what people will do for Weston Park. So we have Janet, who has got
Is
this.
that a guardian angel?
She's amazing. The woman is remarkable. She used to knit and sell everything kind of in person, doing little stalls and things. During COVID, stopped. Her granddaughter, who I met, taught her how to get an online shop. And so then she's done this whole online selling. That is just remarkable. It reminds me of my gran used to knit, actually. So these little like newborn cardigans. She does little, at the moment, like little Easter gifts. Between Christmas and New Year this year, one of our patrons, Nick, he walked 70 kilometres on his 70th birthday. So I joined him for a couple of hours, not the whole walk. And there was him and two of his good friends. They set off at midnight as it just switched into his birthday, and they finished that night at 9 o'clock. And you just think, how remarkable is that, the 70th birthday? I do remember a story when I first came into post. I've been at the charity 6.5 years. And I remember getting my first letter. I've been in post kind of a couple of months. I opened it up and it was a cheque, £27,000. And it told the story of this woman who, her father used to be a farmer up in Topley. She used to help him do the milk round by Weston Park.
Wow.
And you just think, like, where else does that happen? Like, how lucky am I to know these people and listen to these stories? And I can't not mention the amazing team Molly. So Molly sadly passed away aged 27. Her mum Eleanor is just a force of nature again. You know, this amazing woman who rallies and makes things happen, and they're big runners, a lot of them. So they did the Sheffield half marathon.
I mean, you mentioned there Wednesday, and United. I always like to find out where your alliances are.
I will remain neutral.
Is it a neutral answer?
Yeah. So
That's a clever choice.
very, very, very much neutral. I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Arbethornier fan. That's what I am. So I used to be on the sidelines watching the Arbethornier through the 1980s, early 90s, with my granddad, who, I'd have followed to the ends of the earth, but he was the club secretary. Took it all very seriously. And I was literally his shadow. So I was on the sidelines. The smell of my childhood was deep heat.
I love deep heat.
And
Fiery Jacks.
Yeah, and Bovril, basically. Yeah. I mean,
we were mentioning, or you were mentioning before we got started about Chris McClure or Steve Bracknell and what have you. So, and you were saying it brought back memories.
I just think there's something about Sheffield. I think there's something about kind of, working class culture. I think there's something about those relationships and those, friendships that, were formed in, on the football field and the football pitch. And, I just think it's magical. A lot of kind of things that I remember about, the commitment that they had and the banter, and they all had one another's back, and I definitely remember swearing. I remember being outside the pub with a bottle of pop and crisps afterwards. But it was just a very tight knit,
Did you have brothers then? Or
no, just me. No, only child, only grandchild.
I must admit, when I had daughters, I've got two daughters, no kids, and I'd done an FA level 1 coaching badge. And I thought, I did coach kids for a short while. Quickly realised they don't really want to be coached. They just want to kick the ball around. And I thought, I'll park it, and then they come when I have my own kids. And yeah, I think any dreams of my girls getting into football are long gone now.
Well, don't get me wrong. I never played. I was definitely. I was very cold. I always had cold feet on the sideline, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was taken along to Hillsborough on a new occasion, but equally, the support that we've had at the charity from both clubs, but particularly for the appeal from Sheffield United, has just been astounding. I mean,
we don't feel like we're in the best place at the moment in 17th and 24th, I think it is, in the championship. But it would be great for the city to see those both doing really well.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful game, isn't it? It will come back again.
I'm sure it will. So obviously you've got a big project. I'm assuming that's why what the appeal that you're involved with. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So, gosh, how many years are on? I was on the appeal board, about 10, something like that. So basically, we meet, I would say probably monthly, bi-monthly, led by Dr. Cash, who's the chair. Who carries his
saw
whip.
him on stage. It was
Quite
It's entertaining, isn't it? We love him dearly.
We do. And essentially, we all come together with various ideas and looking at the pledges and the angles that we're going to get and the activity that's going on to essentially reach the goal. And we've moved mountains, and even just having kind of those collective conversations, ideas pop up left, right, and centre. So from dinners to raffles to auctions to like the bash game, all sorts of things, change makers series, and we're just getting closer and closer to that goal.
And do you want to, for people who haven't seen it out there, what is the ultimate goal?
So the aim is to raise £1.85 million, which exactly, I mean, it's given me a couple of sleepless nights, to be fair, to bring an MRI simulator to Weston Park Hospital. So there's only 5 of them in the country. We want the 6th one to be here, treating local people. And in terms of what it is, so it's a big machine that provides a more accurate scan, which allows the oncologists at the hospital and the radiotherapy teams to more accurately plan radiotherapy. The story in terms of how it came about, we were lucky enough to receive a significant gift from a private donor to the charity, which gave us the opportunity to look at doing something significant. And we were considering a number of different things, speaking to our clinical partners and colleagues in the hospital about what is it that would make the biggest difference. One of the oncologists in the hospital, Alice, she's a lovely woman. I didn't know her very particularly well. She's the lead for radiotherapy. One thing I knew about her is she loves swimming. And she swims at Hathersea swimming pool, and I do as well. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to have a cup of coffee because I've heard about this MRI simulator. I kind of need to know more about it. So she was kind enough it was half term, she was kind enough to say, come over to Hathersea, we'll have a cup of coffee in Coleman's Deli. Oh, lovely. Pop over and see her. So I remember driving over and thinking, right, I just need to know what the blooming hell this thing is and why it's going to, why it matters. What is it that's going to make a difference? So I remember sat with her, we had those couplers in front of us, and so I said, Alice, just tell me about it. And she reached down, she got her mobile phone out of her bag, and she brought up a picture, an image, of a scan image. And she said to me, Emma, just have a look at that. What can you see? Can you see anything on there? So how I describe this, my GCSE biology kicked in at that point, and I thought, I don't think I can actually. No, kind of thinking, oh gosh, it's like, should I be? And she flipped to the next image and she said, how about now? and really clearly you could see this dark mass. And she said, if I can see it, Emma, treat it. And the second image was from the scan. And I remember coming out of that coffee shop and driving home thinking, well, we're just going to have to do this, aren't we? We're just going to have to get one of those machines. And I thought, it's going to be the most expensive coffee I'm ever going to have because it's going to cost me £1.85 million. So I knew that we had to do it. I knew that we'd got to start, we've got an initial donation, but we were a very long way away from £1.85 million. And all I ever think is Sheffield, as Hannah said, it's the networks, it's the people. And I know that Sheffielders are passionate, aren't they? Not just Sheffield, but the wider region. People are passionate about making a difference back if they can see what it is and why it matters. So it's a big village. So we went out to the villages and amazing people came forward and they've helped us every step of the way since. Ideas, doing, all the things. Nobody has to do this stuff, but they do, and we're just really grateful.
And is that a 1, 3, 5, 10-year plan?
You met us.
We'll keep going. We'll keep going. I think what all I ever think is, if this was me or my family, what would I want for them? And I'd want the very best treatment. I'd want the very best staff. The best and brightest people treating, in Weston Park. And I'd want the best opportunities to be at the cutting edge. So I'd want, my mum, my dad, my partner, all, people. I'd want the best for them. And I think if you go in with that attitude, that kind of approach, and you just keep pushing the boundaries, kind of, well, what is it that's going to make a difference? And then if we can convey that to others, generally, my experience, people go, well, I can help with that, or I can speak to such and such, or yeah, what's I can give that a go.
I think one thing to add as well that I guess I knew in the back of my head, but one thing that's really come to the forefront throughout this kind of journey is the fact how much the professionals will follow the technology. So I know as Sheffield, we're often compared to the likes of more cosmopolitan cities like Manchester and London and whatnot, and commonly they attract the talent. Yeah. And when we've been speaking to the clinicians and the surgeons and everybody who will actually have kind of a touch point with this machine, that's one of the huge kind of selling points, that we will get the best doctors because of this forward-thinking kit, which is really special, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Really special.
Retaining the existing experts that we've got on Weston Park, is one thing. Attracting the best of the brightest minds. Kind of, why not Sheffield? Why not here? Why? What that means is that we've got the best people with the best technology.
And the wheels are in motion, are they? When is it? I'm assuming, from what I gather, it's already coming down the track. When is that?
So we are aiming to have the machine in 2026. I know we're at the start of 2026, so it's definitely going to be towards the end. The fundraising efforts are just absolutely phenomenal. So our next, one of our next big events is on the 4th of February, which is World Cancer Day. Ta-da! Yeah, exactly.
And what will that entail this year?
So it's £50 as seed funding, and every business who gets involved receives that seed funding, and then they convert that into as much as possible. So again, weird and wonderful ideas.
And you're putting an announcement out on Friday about all of this?
I believe so. I mean, Emily is our comms person who knows the schedule left, right and centre, but yes, there's lots of news and things on that sort.
Okay, so obviously we've got some awesome field board members. One of them, which I think deserves a worthy mention, is the guys at Westfield Health. So you should tell us about that.
Oh, they are absolutely remarkable. So Dave Capper and Steve Purden. So Dave's the Chief Executive of Westfield Health. Steve is the chairman, and they're just absolute superstars. They made a commitment very early on, and this is one of the beauties of Westfield. Actually, they're catalysts. They're the ones that go in early, spot things, and help make it happen, help get things off the ground. And I remember going in December, so not 2025, 2024, and saying to doing this kind of mini presentation actually. And the purpose of it was to say thank you to Westfield for all they've done for the charity over its lifetime. So they've made initial commitment to the Cancer Clinical Trial Centre, which has now been operating for 25 years. So they have just been absolute superstars for many years. And I remember going in, there was a few of us, and just saying thank you, and showing them the impact of their donation. I said at the end, and our next big thing is this project, the MRI simulator. And I remember Dave going, so what do you need from us? Come on, Emma, what do you need? And when you just think, just any support would be amazing. And we had this conversation which resulted in a commitment of £500,000. So essentially, they would give us £500,000 if we were able, through our generous supporters, to match it. And you just think, like, I couldn't believe it. When you do, like, your chin hits the floor, and you just think, like, that was not what I expected that day. But I think there's something more than just the money, is that they've put their energy and their commitment and their ideas, and just actually also their enthusiasm behind it. You get a lovely text message from Dave going, I think we're doing brilliant, go on, keep going. So that sort of stuff, for us in the voluntary sector, but for anyone really, it just feels brilliant. It makes us feel like we can go further and do more, and just passionate really. Not everyone can give £500,000, but people can give a £5, or they can give a £10. So that is being really, really powerful. They're an amazing organisation.
I think another nice thing is that so many people have just collectively, between us all, just given us like the opportunity just to kind of spotlight. So like Phil from the Unlimited Awards, he came to our first Change Makers event, and he said, I'd love to help. Like, what can I do? Let's showcase you at the stage. And me and Cash had 5 minutes. And even from that alone, I think on the night, like, people donated £500. I've had a handful of people reach out to me to have catch-up conversations, which you genuinely never know where they lead. From the Change Makers as well. Shout out to Ian. So he put us forward the Ripple Charity of the Year.
No.
And every year I've had a track back. They earn roughly 30 to 40 plus grand, which is significant. And that's just from getting, like, people in the room are just looking at those opportunities. And I think one thing that I think you guys have all done really well, because it's amazing, but sometimes also it can act as a barrier to see, oh gosh, Westfield are doing all this, Ripple have done all this. I think what's also really amazing to see is all of those, even the smaller projects and those community-based things and those raffles and bake sales and anything of the sort, all of those things come through as well. So people have, it's just that awareness, and how can we spread the word?
And how far of that sort of, because obviously we're talking in facts and figures and numbers, how much of their commitment have you managed to get from the public so far that will be matched? Where are you on that?
So our running total at the minute, have you got a sound machine that does a drum roll?
I'll add something, I'll add a
that might, yeah, your technical capabilities. I'm not saying they're going to be stretched there,
No.
but anyway, I'll leave that with you. We are at £1.4 million,
Wow.
which is just absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? As Hannah said, I lucky enough to see and be part of those amazing big numbers coming in. But equally, I stood in Bramall Lane on the 4th of May last year, and I looked around that ground, and there were 17,000 without, Fran Wilder, Chris Wilder, Dave Mack, a huge amount of commitment from people who give their energy, give their time, utilise their influence for good. I remember the kind of, the clapping, and I've got a little video of it actually, it still really moves me. And all of those people were there for this appeal. That's the good of local people. That's what we can make happen when we all come together.
Starts with the conversation.
Sorry?
It starts with a conversation.
Yeah,
does.
absolutely.
On a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, hopefully this gets the message out to get involved. And so you're less than £500,000 to get.
Yeah. So with there are other things that people can do to get involved. So whether it's Master Cutler, whether it's going on our website and having a look at all the different options of and ideas. Or whether it is, as Hannah said, sometimes it's just reaching out and having a conversation.
Yeah, there's volunteering opportunities as well. I did the sleigh collection.
Were you Santa?
No, I wasn't, unfortunately. I couldn't believe the amount of people that line the streets and what have you. So really good.
There's so many people have been touched by it.
Yeah.
I think one thing as well, you don't even know until you start having those conversations. People will say, "Oh, I have, my brother has, my auntie has, my friend has," and I think it's just so rife.
Well, again, I mean, surprisingly, from the I think this is right, but from the 4 of us that did the 24-hour paddle, surprisingly, as the older guy, I think Rob was the only one that had not been affected, but his mother is now she's got pancreatic cancer. And he's been up and down she lives like Land's End, the other side of so he's sort of like having to drive to and from and what have you. And I think it is one of those now where it's everybody's affected, aren't they?
Yeah, either direct or indirect. But what I love about the charity is that yes, we can invest in big pieces of equipment like the MRI simulator.
Really, very passionate about your job. I mean, I love doing charity work. I kind of wish I was a bit more involved in it, but you look like you really love your job.
I know it does sound a cliche. It is an absolute privilege. Like I said, I'm a Sheffield born and bred. Weston Park.
And again, you take those things for granted, you say, you don't necessarily have that everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's a special place. I get to do things like this, meet you, spend time with Hannah, spend time with amazing, super smart, healthcare professionals and doctors at the hospital.
Do you find, on the flip side of that though, do you take home some of the emotional burden of the job or what you witness and stuff like that?
So yes, sometimes there's definitely things I put in place. So one of the things I took up years ago was synchronised swimming.
You mentioned swimming.
So I do synchronised swimming.
It's like a big gang of you.
Otherwise, I'd be synchronising just
on
my own.
Synchronised with a double is hard enough, I imagine, but a big gang.
So there's a big gang of us. I mean, we're not particularly synchronised, but we do have some good belly laughs. But it's things like that.
You're one of these crazy people that goes and sort of runs into the sea when you see it.
Oh, of course, yes. I signed up in August this year for a open water swim around Copenhagen.
Oh wow!
So that's my.
I was going to ask, have you got any personal sort of challenges ahead?
Yeah, well that's the one. So I'll be training for that.
When's that?
End of August, bank holiday. End of August. So That'll be me
Great.
swimming around Copenhagen. So yeah, there's things like that allow me to kind of just do things that take me out of kind of work mode.
Yeah, I imagine it can be all encompassing type of work.
It can. We here at we do a thing called clinical supervision, which essentially we work with a counsellor. We put a lot of emphasis on kind of the well-being side, those a whole range of things, because the team and I, we love what we do, but it can be hard. It can be emotionally. It can take an emotional toll.
Well, honestly, it's been such a good chat with you. As I've said with a few people, it'd be good to come back and do a bit of a progress sort of a second interview, maybe once you've got all the funding in place, you've got everything in place. Be up for that.
That would be amazing.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe towards the back end of the year, come and do a sort of catch up.
That's
interview
perfect.
and,
Yeah, let's do it.
see where you're at with it. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Hannah,
Thank you.
for joining us, and join us again for the next episode.